How's it going, everybody? Welcome to the first episode of the Leaderboard. The Leaderboard is going to be a new series where we break down Call of Duty CDL matches, whether it be majors, whether it be minors, now that that has been implemented. Basically, the reasons why teams won, the reason why teams lost, and really just an overall kind of analytic breakdown of the matches as it goes. A little bit of backstory about myself. My name is Sorrows, also known as Andy. Um, I was a long time Call of Duty competitor. I last competed in Challengers in Cold War and Vanguard. I ended up leaving the scene towards the middle of Vanguard. Just kind of lost the passion for competing and playing due to other reasons. Still very much involved in watching the matches. Met a lot of people in the scene, played against a lot of the guys that are actually in the league now that made their ways up to challengers. So I think I can provide kind of like an inside perspective, being as I played against some of these people. I considered myself a high IQ player. So being able to analyze the map, being able to analyze timings and everything as this year continues and as the game grows and the metas change, I think providing this kind of analytical breakdown is going to be very beneficial for maybe more casual players or people who don't really know the rosters too much, don't understand the maps and maybe what they're looking at, and kind of provide a deeper analysis of the game. So we are going to be going through the minor one, the tournament that went over this weekend. Obviously, FaZe were the champions of this weekend. We're going to be starting with every single match. Now, I'm not going to be watching every single match in their entirety. What we're going to be doing is we're going to break down specific moments in the map that I think are important, highlight reasons why, and maybe where momentum shifts in these maps as well. So we're going to be starting off with the Minnesota ROKKR versus the Los Angeles GUERRILLAS. Obviously, the Minnesota ROKKR took this map. The Minnesota ROKKR went on a crazy run. They're pretty good in this game, I would say. They keep series alive, which is a little annoying, especially if you do any betting, because you never know when they're gonna steal a search or a control or something like that. This was a good map. I think Minnesota ROKKR's continuing to improve. I don't think this roster will stay the same the whole season. I think they have a lot of potential to kind of be that fourth, fifth, or sixth best team in the league, kind of middle of the pack. However, there were a lot of moments that were very impressive with ROKKR. So we're gonna go through this match, kind of highlight moments in the hard point, in the search, and the controls, and just kind of see what we can take away from this first map. So we're starting off with Hacienda Hardpoint, and obviously after the break off, this was as they just mentioned, it was the first time that we saw Hacienda after they added it. The maps in this game aren't fantastic, but I think that they will improve as the year goes on. I think older maps, it's Treyarch, it's Black Ops, so I think older maps will get added. Obviously, Minnesota ROKKR had a very good start there. This map was very strange because, as you can see, Priesta starts off kind of very hot, but eventually, Priesta actually ends up having like 11 kills in this map. So I'm going to pause it right here because I want everybody to kind of analyze one thing really quickly. And this might be the only pause up until like a better moment in the middle of the game. So this is important for Hacienda Hardpoint, especially in this game. It was played a little bit different in Black Ops 4 because obviously you had 5v5. But as we're watching here, as you can see, there aren't going to be any engagements for at least another second or so. Probably the first engagement that happens here will be Kismet and Paul X because they are the first to arrive. Obviously, Priesta is holding this back spawn. So when we go over to TAC maps, what we're going to do is we are going to kind of really break this down a little bit so that you guys can see this a little bit better. So we're going to go Hacienda Hardpoint. As you can see, they have a little bit of a setup. So let's just call player 2, which is Priesta. We're going to have a player here where we can actually rotate the player. Not that it matters too much, but, the player will just kind of be standing here. I think they triple stacked Hill, which is good. And obviously we had one that was playing the staircase. The way that this map kind of works, especially with these spawns, is if you have especially players that are going to be hitting through the middle of the map. Obviously, Paul is coming up this way. And then we have two pushing out, the fences side of the map, going to kind of be attacking Priesta here. The best way to push this map out or to kind of break these spawns, Priesta is actually the most important player in terms of these spawns. Obviously, he has a tough time because you have two players that are going to be challenging him kind of from this area, and that is going to be Estriel and Geo, who are actually pushing through. So you have one AR and one sub. Obviously, Estriel is going to be moving a little bit faster, so he might get into the gunfight with Priesta first. So one of the most important things about holding this back spawn, especially when you have an AR, is you have basically 4 lines of sight, right? You have the middle of the map where you can see top of the staircase, bottom secret, and then you have these 2 players playing fences where you can see from this side of the truck and this side of the truck. And then you have the sightline directly to the hill itself. Obviously, this sightline isn't great because of the curvature of the driveway. The only real people that you're seeing is anybody who challenges the door or is sitting on kind of rotating car. In Priesta's position, he's going to be sitting back here. And Priesta's whole responsibility is to get information but also hold down the spawn. So he actually does have a lot of important gunfights that are coming up. If he gets picked out, Priesta will then spawn on this side of the map, whether it be he will spawn over here or he will spawn back here. Usually it'll be kind of like a back spawn this way, or if they're really pushed out, it'll be like a spawn back here.
And towards back statue is Lens. He's going to get shots in from behind. Don't think he's finished his kills. We hop right over to Lens, and you see that 4-map losing streak.
So as you can see, that was actually a good job from ROKKR to kill Priesta, but then an even better job of Lens of coming back and actually clearing that backside. They left Lens, and they ended up paying for it because now GUERRILLAS is going to get a majority of this time. As you can see, like I mentioned before, you have these back spawns here. So they have to push through either this water side or somebody has to cut through middle to kind of cut this off. Remember though, there is 42 seconds left on this hard point. So you really only have 1, maybe 1.5 more pushes. If this push doesn't go well, you have to start kind of setting up these areas in the middle of the map for that rotation. So
hard point right now for ROKKR, their last win. Dates back to the win over Boston, December 7th.
Yeah, ROKKR had some early pressure there, right? When you're Lin's in that position all the way towards that back statue, as this garage is playing up, you're trying to control the spawns, but there's some new additions to this map. You gotta watch a couple of different angles on that far right side as you're trying to control those spawns. Some players did get through, but Lens was able to lock that down, and now you get a great hardpoint hold here at P2.
Yeah.
So as you can see, obviously they were able to hold on, and it kind of starts with that back hold on the back statue in the driveway. They were able to collect a lot of time, and now they have a 54-14 lead, which is pretty substantial. So obviously going into rotations, you have these players that are going to be cutting off the mid, but because you have a guy pushed all the way out in Nero who is going to start kind of phasing out to this side of the map, it is going to be difficult for them to rotate as there's still 14 seconds. Any kills that you get, they are going to spawn back here because of the hard point, especially with the way that they're positioned. So there were a lot of mixy fights there, but ROKKR ended up getting control of this hard point. However, LAG did hold it for a period of time. So the reason why I pause it here is because what you are going to notice is that these players are going to kind of start picking off the last amounts, and they're actually doing a bad thing here. So this was really bad on the side of the GUERRILLAS because this next hill, P5, on this game specifically, because of the way that the spawns work, is a very mixy hill. They decided to come back to old to collect 11 seconds of scrap time. This is why, wisely, the Minnesota ROKKR were able to rotate over. The score is 85-46, but this can easily, after this hill, especially if they hold it properly, they could have a tie score, only because they should have gave up that scrap time and came over to the other hill. You could even watch it here. You have all these players spawning back boathouse, and they all come over. So Lens comes immediately. You should start rotating over. There's only one player on old. There's still 3 players here, and Skies is very slowly rotating back. So we'll see here if they can fix the mistake by getting the kills, because if they can't get the kills, then they're going to lose a lot of time here. Estriel gets bad timing on Priesta and is still able to kill him there. Obviously, Kismet is kind of patrolling this area. Sky's trying to get an angle. They push Hill. Skies goes down. Nero goes down. Kismet's able to trade. Geo trades, and then Linz trades. So they did end up trading the kills out, which is perfect, but you are trapped here because of the spawn. So if you can get a quick break, you can get back into this game. Obviously, Guerrilla's doing a very good job of getting themselves back into this hard point, getting kills. Priesta and Linz are absolutely going off here, holding this time. So now you have a 50-point lead as opposed. So we'll see kind of how this break goes down as well.
And it's a little bit different on pushes like this where you're 4-man swarming. It's like Black Ops 4 where you had stims, right? Like shoulder, stim, slide. It's a little bit different. Yes, you've got the movement to work with, but not...
Now remember, a lot of this does come from the amount of pressure that Linz is putting on the map. When you have a sub that's going off, especially in this game, you can put a lot of pressure on the map, and Linz is doing just that. He was going off this map. LEG was able to get a very good hold here on this side, but obviously, you know, ROKKR was able to get in and kind of get that scrap. Now, with the kills, ROKKR is wisely rotating through. You have Nero starting to move his way over, and Paul X wisely is starting to kind of pick up that whole rotation all the way through. The only player that can really intercept here is Skies. Obviously, Paul is able to pick up Skies right there. But there's a very big moment that happens right here in this map. I'm going to let this play out live. Nero, they stack, and he's able to get a 3-piece, and they get the kills. Now, the only problem is that they're spawning Boathouse. Paul is pushed a little bit too far out, and the timing, he should know that they're already rotating through. Estriel is able to get 2 on this side. Paul is still holding the side. Paul should have picked up middle map there, as opposed to going back to Hill, where now Estriel is going to be doing so. They pinch right here through the middle, and they win some very good fights and are able to break through. So this is going to put them over the 200 mark. If they get anywhere near maybe 215 or 220, if they hold the entire time, they're going to be poised in a great position to close out this first map. So look how they're holding. Skies is obviously in his power position. Priesta and Linz are playing closer. Skies with a big kill on Paul X right there. Kismet wisely gets back, dies. You know, you have Estriel kind of pushing Old if he gets traded out here. I mean, it's just, again, these are just kills that are important. They are pushing Old out a lot instead of kind of, you know, positioning themselves into new. They do a good rotation here. But again, Linz is frying Kismet. That's a big kill right there on Paul. He kind of opens it up. If they get another one on Hill, now it's a 4v2 situation in the middle of the map. Nero goes down. You know, you have Skies going down. Linz is just going off here. And this, look at that. I mean, those are just great shots from Linz. He played absolutely insane. So they're going to have to rotate here if they want to stay into this game. Obviously, it's 231 to 171. You have 3 players pushing out this defensive side. They're going to try to retake from the back. Nero dies here. Priest is going to throw this stun to get information. Kismet is most likely going to clean this up. That's a great stun from Priesta. And they have to push in here together. Now it's a 3v4 situation. Paul is the closest. Kismet is probably going to just chow. Yep, dive in. He's going to get 2. So now you're just collecting time. This is the name of the game. This is the most important part right here. They're going to get to 240, so now you only need 10 seconds. Minnesota ROKKR literally has to be perfect. Geo's going to get that first kill. Kismet goes down. Priesta goes down. So now it's just Linz in the middle of the map. He's going to have to try to pick up maybe this kill here on Nero, which does die because they do still have the back spawns. Again, ROKKR has to be perfect or else they lose the game right here on this hill. Skies going, they get all the time. Now, here's the most important thing. There's only 5 seconds. There's 9 seconds to get across the map. If you can get every single kill, you have a chance. But obviously, you have the Guerrillas that are already set up in a good position. Priest is going to get down. Sky should be watching top right here. He should have never went into the greenhouse. Priesta actually didn't have to die there. Skies, that was a bad play. He should have just watched top. You already have Hill and you don't have any information, so you actually give them an opening. So that has to get obviously cleaned up by Skies. I'm sure he knows that. He should have just been watching top. That's a big kill there. Priesta kind of getting shit on this map, but he's doing a good job kind of holding down the hill as well and anchoring. Remember, they have to be perfect. That's a great trade from Kismet on Estriel at the top. Nero's just sitting here. Nero's going off. This is good. This is now basically S&D. Whoever gets these kills and they get a 3-wipe, and that is game. So there were a lot of mistakes on both ends, and I think that obviously the Guerrillas were able to close out the map, but there were actually situations where ROKKR could have came back and easily won this map. So Gorillas does have to clean up the respawn a lot. Just kind of as Maven says there, you did let them stick around way too long, and that wasn't obviously optimal. So we're going to be going into the S&D. Obviously, there were some good moments there. S&D is kind of like my wheelhouse, so if I see something and I get a little frustrated, I'm probably going to talk a little bit of shit because it's annoying to watch pros play bad S&D. So we're going to move over to the S&D now. So Protocol S&D is a weird map. It's kind of like Vault, where you can really just make your way over to one side of the bomb. Obviously, the A bomb site would be here, and then the B bomb site is kind of back in this area. I'll turn on the names of the places so that you guys can kind of take a look at them. You spawn on the grandma side and they spawn on the ammo side. So you can get to ammo a lot quicker and kind of get the angles to the front, but this team will get to the A-bomb faster. There's a lot of times where if you go all the way to spiral, you can get stuck on the spiral step. So sometimes it kind of messes with the timing unless you are taking an entire route all the way through. If you get yourself all the way through, then you can go obviously into big door through this side. But usually what they'll take is they'll go to drop, they'll go down the rope, and you're going straight into A, because this is really the money bomb site. Once you get in here, you obviously are going to have people on either side as well. So when you're in A, you obviously have your bomb planner. One person should be playing one of the head glitches for the big door. One should be watching spiral staircase, and one should be watching, obviously, the drop in A. So it's a very basic S&D map, so you're going to want to have your ARs, especially if you're hitting B. Maybe one top grandmas, maybe one playing the barrel, kind of making his way up to P1, and obviously your subs just kind of coming out through the middle of the map. This allows for you be able to watch top ammo. This person watches, like the middle artillery gun, and then you guys can make your way down heli steps, go through the cut, kind of take control of ammo, but also play this outside area. So we're going to watch actually the second round here a little bit closer. As you can see, they go bottom rope, and they're able to just meet, but Gorillas does a good job here of winning these gunfights. Estriel gets a huge pick there on Sky, so now it's a 2v2. Normally in a 2v2, the most important thing to do is to get back with your teammate. Estriel has the bomb here. You have Nero. He's going to be making his way all the way around. I usually like kind of getting back with a teammate, but Nero's just kind of looking for a timing, trying to see if anybody made their way up already. Obviously, we have both of these players coming up into ammo. Nero's going to catch one here in Kismet, most likely get traded out by Priesta, so now it's a 1v1. You have Priesta and you have Estriel. They both have subs. They get really weird timing, but Priest is there. He's able to shoot him into the back. So, again, I like getting together with your teammate right away, which is what which is what Gorillas did. Priesta and Kismet were able to just kind of get back together and run together so that you can trade just like so. So that is a rule of thumb, especially with this game. Never really go rogue. If you can get back with your teammate as fast as possible, I would say do so, especially if you guys have the bomb, because they could have made their way over to another bomb site together. So we'll check back in another kind of big highlight moment. So this is a great example of how you adjust to the situation. Like I mentioned, you go through grandma's here and you're going to go drop. So they're getting there very, very, very quickly. On this side, so you're gonna make your way back up. You see that Skies does pick up a kill on Paul from his power position, where I mentioned before that you can have somebody sitting barrel, which gets full sight lines over to the top of ammo. So now collectively they're going to start making their way through. You have somebody going heli steps. It's usually going to be the bomb carrier. Obviously Skies is going to position himself on heli. Now you have all the angles kind of looking over towards this side, and you still have Linz positioned in a way where he can kind of clean up middle. He's going to kill Nero here, who's trying to hit a flank, so now it is a 4v2 situation. The only thing that they have to do is just everybody stay alive. You don't even have to give up kills. Linz is getting the information in middle. They're still obviously looking for him because they had the information of him killing Nero earlier, but everyone is doing a great job of staying put. Skies gets a big kill on Geo and just calls out the other and cleans it up. That was a very, very, very clean round. An immediate adjustment when they started getting naded and got beat to the spot. And then going over to B side, it's just textbook S&D. There are some great S&D players on this team. There's actually good S&D players on both sides. I would say I played Kismet a lot in Vanguard. You know, Skies, playing him in Cold War and other titles. You know, it goes without saying, guys like Nero and Geo. Obviously, Linz is from France, so I don't really have a lot of experience from him. But, you know, the other guys, I do have a little bit of experience, so that's good. That was a great round from them. We're actually going to watch this one through as well, because as you can see, ROKKR is trying to make their way through, but Kismet beats them here every single time. They get 2 big kills. If Kismet can get through and able to get one of these, it looks like they're just going to aggro and push through. You now have a 3v1 situation with Priesta. He's still using his RC car. It's going to get picked. They have the information on Priesta. They know that he's still in the spawn or close to, so it's very easy for them to be able to plant this bomb. Once you have a situation like this, it's almost impossible to win a round in this sense. No matter where you throw equipment from, they're going to have an angle. Priesta misses some shots there on Geo, so now they have the information. He really only has 25 seconds. It's impossible for him to win this round. He's just going to try to get some kills if it goes to around 11. Obviously, you want to have as many kills as possible so that you can get the defensive side. They're going to just push him out. Nero wins a great gunfight there. So that was just a good round from ROKKR, and they're just trading blows right now. These are good S&D teams going back and forth right here. So LAG ends up obviously picking up that S&D, winning it 6-4. So they go up 2-0. And it's funny because when I did my DraftKings picks, I had Minnesota ROKKR winning like 3-1 or something like that. However, I knew it wasn't over, but I did have them winning like 3-1. And they end up obviously doing what they do. This protocol control was a big one for them, so I did want to show this because they played very, very, very well on this map specifically, and we're gonna see kind of how they get back into the series here. So I did want to show this part here. We're actually gonna let this play through. You have 17 to 18, so it's very, very, very similar lives left. This A point is almost completely stacked, and there's no ticks on the B side. So this is actually a great position here for ROKKR. Obviously, LAG is going to try to stack this A point and kind of get as much as they can. You have Nero kind of pushed out this outer area. He's going to push back artillery for the spawns. Most likely he's going to play it. Geo is just kind of sitting in ammo, just being a nuisance here. We had a gunfight go down, and then Paul is coming off of spawn to pick up A to kind of clean this up. So you're going to see the gunfights that Minnesota ROKKR wins here, and they just go absolutely huge on every engagement, and this is kind of the key to why they won the round. So let's watch this through.
And woo! Getting up there. Hopefully they don't fire us for like a younger and cuter model. I don't know. That's why I'm working out and stuff, bro. You gotta keep me around. I'm trying to dial back the clock so I'll get a cuter model. You try and find a better 6'3" ball.
We'll just be Tris Collinsworth and Al Michaels till we're 85.
Yeah, that's good. I'm just drooling on camera. 6 straight for Geo. He has those takeover moments in control. He could be an absolute beast, but he's back to the point to kind of clear the progress off it from that 3rd tick. You're fighting to maybe get that minute extension in. They're able to get on it for a second. It'll be Estriel with the one-on-one. He's able to take him down before teammate will trade him out. Another opportunity to get to the point is Priesta getting across. Polex trying to stop that from happening, but they got there, and they've got their minute extension. Lives-wise, you're 10-10, so this is very winnable. I mean, it's a pretty good defense out of ROKKR early on, but you got a chance to do this. Those 3 kills. Those 2 kills.
2 kills. There's a 3rd. They got the trade. They cleaned it up. And wow, I mean, Nero able to get a 2nd as well. So he's really cleaned it up. It was 10-10 just a couple moments ago. But I think the big thing for LAG, you do get those 3 takes on A. This is your more standard round.
Did you say couple?
I don't know what I said.
Yeah.
Couple?
Maybe. Yeah, Joe just looked at me after that the first 2 maps during the break and goes, "These teams, bro."
They just mess with my head.
No, it's hey, dude.
The purple, the players.
Yeah,
I don't know.
it does.
I'm on a different planet.
We've been on a different universe for a little bit, but Priesta with 1. He won't be respawning back in. They got clutches up at a 3v5, and Estriel's making the play late. He's able to get 2. A little icy here late in the round. 20 seconds to go. It's on Skies and Kids to clutch. Now it'll just be Skies and a 1v5 lives. There's one, and it'll end there. ROKKR on the board.
So just great trades, great kills there. Obviously, Nero went huge in the middle to get kind of those 4 kills. Estro with a huge 2-piece in their back base because obviously if he doesn't get that kill, Linz can run around and kind of cause a lot of chaos. So this moment's actually really rough because GUERRILLAS is up 5 lives on them. And obviously they're on defense. Geo and Kismet kind of trade out kills down here. You have a 15 to 20 with Linz in a very good position to kind of start picking these players off in ammo. As this kind of goes on, I'll show, Linz is pushing through. They have the information on Linz. Estro turns around, obviously gets picks there. Now it's 19 to 14. They still have the advantage. This was a very, very, very rough part because now they're 3 dead, 4 dead. So now it's 15 to 13. This round was in favor of LAG, and they didn't have, ROKKR didn't have a lot of time to kind of close this round out, and they kind of just bring it back from the depths, to be honest. Even as the round goes on, it ends up being a 5-3 lives advantage. So this is literally a 3v5. They're playing S&D at this point. Geo pushes through here. This is a great timing. Nero gets 1, goes through. Geo is looking for Kismet here. This is a huge kill. Now it's a 2v3. Still in favor of LAG. Estro shits on Skies right here. Just absolutely shits on him. 2v2. This is a round that LAG had to win. Estro just goes huge here. Priesta is most likely going to get caught here on the angle. Geo gets Linz, kind of pushing all the way back. 2v1 Priesta, he's trapped. There's really no way that Priesta wins this round. And that is just a massive round for Minnesota ROKKR. They shouldn't have won that round, but they did. So here, Minnesota just kind of comes in, and obviously they end up winning the 3rd round to make it a swift 3-0. Linz is kind of playing this top, but this is kind of where Minnesota ROKKR turns it on. There's 15 seconds left. They still haven't capped A. They're just putting a great amount of pressure on them. Geo gets 1 on Priesta. Nero gets 1 on Kismet. Geo gets another on Sky. So now it's just Linz gets traded out by Estro. All they have to do is kind of push up, get these spawns. Paul is going to know here that Priesta's pushing through. This should be an easy trade. He turns because he thinks Nero's behind him. Geo's going to pick up Priesta, and that is the round. That is a 3-0 from them. So this is a very important part of the map, because if you guys were watching this weekend, as you know, it kind of goes down to the wire. You had these kills here, but Minnesota ROKKR did have the rotation into ammo. With this kill on Linz, now you have a spawn out from Nero. Nero ends up actually lagging out. And they would have to end the match, obviously. With the rotations here, Nero was doing a good job. You could say that they would have got traded out right there, and then GUERRILLAS would have taken control of the map. It was so close, and obviously somebody ends up lagging out. You have all the players laughing because the scan and repair has been awful. Thanks, COD, of course. I think, personally, that Minnesota ROKKR was in a very good position to win that map still. Some people think that it's cheesy, that GUERRILLAS with those 2 gunfights that they would have won there on Nero, and then whoever else was in ammo, they would have brought it all the way back. But if we go into the replay, it actually isn't even close. It's 230 to 144. You guys can go back and watch this map. It was pretty uneventful. They did a very, very, very good job. They were winning a lot of big gunfights. Everybody was playing very, very, very well. Obviously, they have 4 seconds left. They're just going to kill them on old, get 4 dead. They're going to end up winning this map, and we push it to a map 5. So a lot of people think the restart was kind of cheesy. Honestly, throughout the whole weekend, there was a bunch of restarts. So obviously, we hope that doesn't happen for the major. But this kind of pushes it to that map 5. It's going to be Hacienda S&D. So I'm going to show you guys kind of the moments where I think the momentum shifted and why Minnesota ROKKR was actually able to complete the reverse sweep. So here we go. So this round, in my opinion, is kind of where the momentum shifted, because you have these 2 players in Estro and Paul playing this backside. Geo's all the way back Bowhouse, and then you have obviously Skies and Linz fighting for their lives on the point. This is where I think that they started kind of gaining that momentum and really squaring up in these gunfights where they weren't going to lose this map. You see that they're just kind of steadfast holding the small door. They're not giving up the small door. They're putting a lot of pressure on it. Theoretically speaking, the Guerrillas have the power positions with the head glitches and being able to see through the small door. There's not a lot of angles that you can catch from the small door. I'm going to slow this down for you guys, and I'm going to show you exactly why they won this round, because if we just slow it down to a 0.5, and we're just going to kind of let this play. Geo peaks Skies right here, and Skies gets an angle and just rips Geo off of that heady. If Skies took any damage, we don't know because it's not here. This is the moment of the round. Estriel knows that both of these players are pushed out on the left side because he got the information. Obviously, Paul is most likely communicating that as well. Estriel takes a slide, a full slide, all the way to the backside of Rock. Those two players on LAG did not see this. Watch how he kind of takes his time and just does one big slide over to the side. They did not see him. Paul goes in kind of initially. Lynn sees him, gets picked off. He was trying to plant the bomb. It was just an awkward situation. But in my opinion, this is where the momentum shifted. Obviously, Estriel, this was a great play from him, just sliding all the way through. They wouldn't see him. Skies does, he also kind of slides at the same time, gets bad timing. Estriel would have picked up both of these kills regardless if Paul X wasn't there. And I do think that this is where the momentum shifted for the ROKKR, and that they were able to just take this map kind of with ease. So after that round, it was really just a domination. LAG ended up picking up the third round, but then it was just round after round after round after round for Minnesota ROKKR. Just clutch gunfights, great pushing, great timing that they ended up getting. This right here, what I'm about to show, is the worst play of the entire weekend from Kismet. And it is very uncharacteristic of him, especially in SND. But look what happens here. This is the worst play of the entire tournament. Look how they're set up. They get the information on Priestley. He has half health. He has 57 points of health. You have this player back here, which is Paul X, playing the back Bowhouse. I don't know what Geo was doing back here when I was watching this. There is nobody on the planet who can tell you besides Geo what he was doing. This just seems like a very weird spot. I don't even know if he was near his controller. I don't know what was going on. So this was actually, like, if anybody had pushed out this side, and I think that they did play it too slow because there's no reason for Lins to be all the way back here when you have the control of middle in the way that Kismet and Skies do. You do have to get more information for Lins to push up a little bit. He's too far back in my opinion. Obviously, Priest getting most of the information that if Paul is playing so far back in Boathouse, they are pushed back, especially if you have two teammates in mid. They're holding both bomb sites kind of from a more defensive, a very defensive position. They're not playing as aggressive as they usually do. But this right here is the worst play of the entire fucking weekend. Look at Kismet right here. He sees Nero and just completely tunnel visions. Look at this. There's no reason for you to push out this way because you have the information on Paul in back Boathouse. That is just the absolute worst play of the weekend. Kismet knows. Look at Kismet's face, bro.
Great spot to find a first blood.
Look at Kismet's face.
That was insane.
Yeah, what Merc said. That was insane. He tunnel visions completely just to get the kill on Nero and ends up getting picked by Paul, and that is just the worst thing he could have done. Paul has more information here on Priesta. They're having a good laugh because honestly, that was just a horrible play. It really was. It was a bad play. I'm going to mute them there for a sec just so that you guys can see. Now it is a 2v3 situation. They put themselves in that deficit. Kismet, that was just a bad play, especially if he was able to stay alive. That kill on Estriel would have made it a 3v3. Geo gets picked there. Priesta kills him, but Paul ends up getting both kills because he's on that backside. So it was just an absolute breakdown in my opinion from Guerrillas. Kismet gets up and leaves the station. I mean, again, just the worst play of the entire weekend was Kismet right there. Like, he completely gave up the round. Would they have won that round and the map down on that 5-2 deficit? Who knows, right? But you definitely aren't helping your team if you're doing that. Obviously, Paul has a fantastic map. Paul, in my opinion, again, is a guy that I played in Vanguard Challengers. Ends up dropping 1156 on that damage, just playing very, very, very well. I got a lot of respect for Paul. I think he has been grinding and frying. He's like top 250 he's definitely frying. He's been a machine. So Minnesota, this is kind of where they start that run in the minor. LEG gets eliminated, obviously, very quickly. Just kind of bad plays all around. I think there was a lot of inconsistency from Priesta. I think Priesta definitely has to pick it up a little bit because otherwise Priesta is not going to last on this team, and I'm telling you that right now. Don't be surprised if they make a roster change and Priesta is not on this team at the end of the year for Guerrillas.